BMRforum.com and BMRodds.com, boys. What is going on? Welcome back to the Lobby, episode number 132. As always, each and every week, Mr. Donnie Rightside. What's up, Donnie?
What's up, guys? 1 week away from the holiday season. At least it's Christmas next week. It's so funny. Like, I was just talking to the wife there. I was like, do you believe, like, Christmas is next week? Like, the older I get, the less, I don't want to say excited, but the more it's just like, oh, wow, it's creeping up. Like, you used to look at this like 60 days in advance, ready to go, parties. But now I'm old. I just like to be in bed early. It's like, oh, yeah, Christmas is next week. What are we doing? I don't know.
Yeah, same here, Donnie. We didn't even put up a tree this year.
Oh,
No tree this year. We already
That's
told
good.
the kids we're going to give them some money. We're not even, the adults aren't even exchanging gifts. Because like I told the wife, and her mom brought this up too, as we get older, if I want something, I'm going to go
buy
buy it. I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait for Christmas in the hopes of someone giving it to me. If I want something, I'm going to go and get it, right?
Yeah.
And Sam, what's on your shirt?
We got Leo from Django Unchained. Yeah. That's it's a solid
Good
scene.
roll. It's a good roll.
But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right in terms of the presents. Like my mom decided as a retirement hobby, she's going to get into guitar. So me and my two older brothers are like, hey, let's just buy her a guitar. And then my middle brother's like, hey, mom's just going to go buy one. So we're like, Mom, we told you we're going to take care of it. So she just bought it. She gave us the receipt and then we just sent her money. So it's just like, what a gift. We just sent her money to buy a guitar. So whatever, it kind of works. But that's just kind of how it is nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I miss opening the presents. I miss all that. That's kind of anticlimactic, Sam. She buys a guitar and you send her. I mean, granted, yeah.
Well, just like you're giving the kids money, it's it's the same thing. It's kind of same. It's the thought that counts, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the spirit of Halloween.
Spirit of you mean Christmas?
Yeah, Christmas. Yeah, that too. But yeah, I mean, I got my tree up. I got lawn ornaments out there that always blow away. And, nice to get some family dinner. Nice to exchange some gifts. We do Secret Santa at work. So, there'll be a lot of alcohol and marijuana passed around this weekend.
Yeah.
Very nice. I know, Sam, from looking at your previous Facebook pictures and stuff, you always do a good job decorating the house. What's it look like for this year?
Oh, yeah. I got the outside lights. I got inside lights that are always on 24/7. Again, I got lawn ornaments, but I never have a good luck. They always fall over. It's pretty upsetting. I got about 15 ugly sweaters, so I wear them every day at work. Customers love it. Salesmen love it. Managers love it. And, it's personality. It's like me and the bow tie. Not a lot of people dress up anymore. It's a different generation. But, I still like to have a personality. And that's what I like to have fun at work, and the customers have fun. And also shout out to the Knicks League Cup champions. Bing bong, baby.
Hang it.
Yeah, that's the only championship they're getting this year.
Hang it.
Last but not least, Mr. Reload. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, doing pretty well here. Holiday time, like you said, the days are kind of flying by here. We'll be into the we're hitting all the crap bowl games already, and then it'll be onto the playoffs, and that's a sign that it's the holiday season. It's the money season, I guess. That's what we'll call it.
Real quick, just to touch on your point, Donnie's point. The older we get, I think the time moves faster. I look at the calendar. I can't believe, like Donnie alluded to, it's already December. The time just flies by, and you say, "Well, where did the year go?"
Oh yeah, exactly. Where did it go? I mean, it seems like everything's flew by. It seems like, wow, just a while ago it was summer and fall kind of flew by, and now we got ice on the ground,
Exactly right. But I want to give a big shout out again to the man over here, Mr. Roofer, again, putting Mr. Sam's in charge in a great $1,000 contest. Sammy, you're 3-0. What's your strategy been so far, and what are you looking forward to for tonight?
Yeah, pretty awesome. Shout out Roofer again. Gave Bobby the $1,000. Unfortunately, JDS couldn't take advantage. But I got 3 wins, 2 on Monday, 1 yesterday. I took the Knicks, of course, who won the NBA League Cup. And then, I did find a loophole. Now, technically, you got to work the contest. It is a 10 contest. You got to win 6. So technically, I'm 3-0. So if I take both sides of both games, technically I could cheat my way to win, but Roofer did say that is against the rules, which I do agree, for the sake of a contest, I do want to win it fair and square. But if he did allow the loophole, who's to say I'm not going to win a free $1,000? But tonight, what I did is I took all four sides. I took I took both sides and both over unders, figuring that just by dumb luck, if I go 2-2, that makes me 5-2. Then I just got to go 1-3 or 1-2 over the last three plays. Even if I get unlucky and go 1-3, I'm still 4-3. Needing to go 2-1, it'd be very unlucky to go 0-4. And if I get lucky, I go 3-1 and I win the 1,000 tonight. So tonight in the NBA, I am going with all the favorites or both favorites. I'm going with the Wolves -8 over Memphis, and I'm going with the Cavs -5.5 over the Bulls, and we're taking both unders. So again, hopefully go 2-2. If I go 3-4, we'll win the 1,000 tonight. And thank you, Roofer, for the opportunity. Really appreciate it.
Yes, definitely. So, and Sammy, last question for you before I move on. Speaking of contests, are you still the master of your domain?
No, not the master of my domain, and definitely not going to be this weekend. Got a new girl that's going to be coming over, and definitely not going to be the master of my domain.
All righty. Does anyone celebrate Festivus here?
Oh yeah, it's a Festivus a Festivus for the rest of us. We got the golden pole out. We got the yeah, we're ready to go.
All righty. Donnie, let me jump over to you. Let's talk some NBA. What do you got tonight, buddy?
Yeah, only 2 games tonight, but I was with last night, taking a look at the New York Knicks, like the spot they were in. Most of the public was on the San Antonio Spurs. Great comeback by the New York Knicks to win it, not hang a banner, which I completely agree with. By the way, if the Knicks win a championship this year, you hang that banner, and then like the bottom right-hand corner, you put like, hey, you know what? Emirates NBA Cup champions as well. You don't hang that banner before that because it's almost like the double down at this point. But tonight, you got 2 games on the carpet. Memphis Grizzlies and Minnesota Timberwolves. Early in the day, I got 233.5. We're down to 229.5 despite having about 8 out of every 10 tickets on the over in this game. Just a public fade for me tonight. I'm taking the under 233.5, which now at some outlets sits at 228.5. An absolute drop from 236.5 earlier this morning. So I'll ride the under in that Grizzlies Timberwolves game. Only 2 games, so slim pickings.
Thank you, Roofer. Reload. They both start with R. Reload, over to you, buddy. Let's talk some NBA. What do you got?
Yeah, well, NBA, like I said, short card tonight. There's only one play I like, and that's the Cavs Bulls under 242.5. I know Sammy mentioned he was taking unders tonight. I think it's a good spot for unders. The team's off for a couple of days each, and the under is 7-1 in the last 8 Bulls home games. I think the reason this total is a little high is because the last time the Cavs and Bulls played, it went over the total. Now it's been set at about 12 points higher than the last game. I think that's too much of an adjustment. So we're going to go the underway and take the under 242.5 in that one.
All righty. Thank you. And Sammy, I know you touched on it a little bit in your contest, but NBA tonight, anything else?
No, yeah, like I said, there's just 2 games. So I got both favorites and both unders. And nothing for college.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you. Donnie, let's jump over to you. We got college football playoffs are going to be starting underway.
Yeah, good stuff, by the way. Friday night, interesting game. You got some windy conditions in Alabama and Oklahoma. That line's still sitting in that 1.5 range, but we did see some movement today. The +1.5 for Alabama, -1.5 for Alabama have turned into +1.5 at a lot of outlets right now. I don't necessarily agree with it. I'm having a tough time with this game because Alabama's been leaking oil down the stretch. I understand home field advantage means a lot for Oklahoma, but Oklahoma's offense is horrendous. It's almost like they're praying just to be able to move the football and get first downs. They should have lost to LSU. You saw earlier in the season, win for the Oklahoma Sooners on the road, taking on Alabama. I lean towards Alabama. Don't love that football game, but I go that direction. Saturday's games, noon kickoff, Miami, Florida, and Texas A&M. This game hanging at 3.5. I'm going to take the Hurricanes with the 3.5 points. I think this game is going to be close. Miami can win this, but I'll take the 3.5. I think that hook is pretty big. I don't really have great reads on Tulane, Ole Miss, and also James Madison, Oregon. The way I'm thinking about playing it is, you don't get style points anymore. You're in the playoffs. A 1-point win for Oregon and or Ole Miss. They'll be just fine with that and move on to round number 2. But the one thing I do know, the cleanest football you're going to get in this game is in the first half. Oregon's going to try to score as many points as they can in the first half. Same thing with Ole Miss. Who knows what's going to happen late in the fourth quarters here. Give me both of those teams on Saturdays, the heavy favorites, to win their first half by margin. And that's the way I'm leaning right now on those.
All righty. Thank you, Donnie. Reload, over to you. I don't know why I keep calling you Roof. Let's talk some college football.
Yeah, well, college football, I cashed last week with Army in the Army-Navy game, so we'll see if we can stay hot here. We just talked the Alabama-Oklahoma game, and the line is kind of flipping there now with Oklahoma favored by 1. I'm going to go with Alabama +1, and I'm also going to hope the line goes up a little. So I'm going to wait things out. I think Alabama getting points, any kind of points there, is a nice spot. I think the public's kind of getting sucked into the fact that Oklahoma won the game early in the season with them, and they get the home field. So it's a little bit of a trap there, and I'm going to go the other way on Alabama. Texas A&M and Miami, also another big game. I'm going to take the favorite, Texas A&M. Starting to see -3 out there instead of the 3.5. So I'm going to wait that one out too. Looks like the action is on Miami. Kind of another trap there, kind of trapping everybody in to take Miami plus the points. Miami looking good really the whole season, only a couple of close losses. But remember, that was against the ACC mostly. And A&M is getting beaten up in the SEC every week. So I like A&M laying the short number at home there. Yeah, the other two playoff games, my lean would be to the favorites. I think kind of like Donnie was saying, I think they're going to try to put those games away early. But it's not like me to really take big favorites. And, it's kind of like you either have to lay the points or pass. So I'm going to pass on those games.
All righty, thank you. Sammy, over to you. Let's talk some college football, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, Alabama's on their revenge tour, probably trying to prove that they deserve to be there. And then obviously if they win against Oklahoma, they'll have to go up against number 1 Indiana. I think actually Ohio State's lucky that they're the number 2. I think there's a slightly easy schedule for them, or a path for them at the national championship, to not have to place the winner of Oklahoma, Alabama in the second round. And then Texas A&M versus Miami. It's interesting because it's like, Texas A&M just lost Lane Kiffin. So what team is going to come out? Are they going to, come out of the adversity and, come out and prove themselves, or are they going to be, in dismay without their coach? It all really depends, kind of like Reload said, of what line you get. If you're getting -3 or if you're getting -3.5, obviously 3.5 is a pretty bad line. If you're there, then you probably want to be on Miami. And then finally, with the two favorites, if you take both favorites, you might go 1-1, maybe lose some juice, or like Donnie says, take them both in the first half. That might not be a bad play. Or if you really want to go degenerate line, just take them all in the first quarter.
All righty, Sammy. Thank you. Reload. Let me jump over to you. Let's talk some NFL. How was last week for you? Week 15. How was it?
Yeah, NFL was kind of ho-hum. I only had 2 bets. One was the Colts, so that cashed. That went pretty well with Phillip Rivers coming back. Boy, was that something in Seattle on the road. Yeah, and I almost won the game even. Lost with Arizona, the Arizona Cardinals. Wow, what a terrible game with the Texans. Just nothing went right for the Cardinals. Fumbled the opening kickoff, and it just went from there. Didn't have a chance even with 10.5 points. I even waited the line to go up to 10.5. Got that and still lost. So 1-1 on those games. Looking forward to this week. I've got a lot jumping out at me this week, so we'll see how that goes.
All righty, thank you. Donnie, over to you. NFL Week 15, how was it for you?
Yeah, not great prop-wise and not great in the pool. I think I had 13 points last week, so I'm sitting around like 15, 16 at this point. Need to turn on the Jets here over the final 3 weeks of the season, which hopefully we'll be able to do. But, coming down the stretch, those PSAs that you always want to watch out for, some of these teams playing for stuff also understand some of these players playing for stuff. Like, let's just say Justin Jefferson, they're already eliminated Minnesota, but he's like 150, 160 yards away from 1,000 yards. You're starting to look at scenarios like that and also understand who needs what at this point, and sometimes getting that sharp number on a Monday or Tuesday, only to find out Thursday or Friday that guys will have a limited role or maybe sitting out because they're already out of the playoffs. That's something to watch out for. So buyer beware on some of these early strikes. Like week 6, week 7, week 8, yeah, everybody's giving it their all. Now that you're out of the playoffs here, it's like, hey, you know what? I like the Miami Dolphins to bounce back. Oh, no, Tua's not going to start at quarterback this week. Or you're taking a look at Marcus Mariota starting again against the Philadelphia Eagles as opposed to Daniels. That's going to happen across the league when guys are taking a look at who's going to be their quarterbacks down the stretch, and also maybe getting some of these younger players in situations that they weren't usually in. And if you're on that side of it, that sucks. It does.
That it does. Sammy, over to you. Week 15 in the NFL. How was it for you?
Yeah, we had a couple ACL tears. Maybe Cowboys won the trade against Green Bay with Micah Parsons being out. Not that you ever root for anyone to get injured. I've never root for that. But just stating the facts. And then Mahomes going down, first time in a decade. Kansas City's not going to be in the playoffs. So, pretty exciting to see the headlines and who's going to be there. All the storylines that are coming out. I mean, tomorrow night, we're about to talk about it, but, an NFC championship preview potential, winner's the number 1 seed, loser's going to be the 6 or the 7 seed. For me, I went 3-4 last week. I had 14 points. I won my high confidence, lost my low confidence. So I'm just chilling in the middle. But shout out to Dr. Steve Brew, 23 points, Deeps Freaks, 23 points. And then Kids to Feed, the winner last week with 25 points. And then the overall leaderboard, it's been the same 5 guys. We just announcing their names every week. Dual Grab, 9043 in 5th place. Polo GQ in 4th place. JR Groom in 3rd place with 252. Mike 1234258. 258. So 6 points behind. And then another 6 points behind the leader for, I don't know, the umpteenth week in a row. But try. Leader by 8 points with 3 weeks to go.
Thank you, Sammy. Donnie, let me jump over to you. Let's talk a little bit of UFC. We got this Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua matchup coming up. Anthony is a big favorite, depending on where you shop, about 1,300, 12 to 1,300 to 1. So what do you like here?
I actually like these boxing matches better than actual real boxing matches. It adds some intrigue, and also you don't have to pay $69.99, $129.99 to watch it. Friday night, you'll be able to watch this clear. Here's what the tough part about betting these are. Like if you watch when they fight sometimes against Mike Tyson, let's just say Paul, he could have knocked him out in the first 2 rounds, carried him the rest of the way, didn't want to embarrass him, still won the fight. Like, come on, man. So you don't know what you're getting. And also understand this. Is this going to be like his last fight? Because the gravy train is over once he gets beat. Nobody cares. Like, if he gets knocked out, we don't care if he's going to line up against some washed-up UFC fighter down the line. So that's what I worry about. And also, if you're Anthony Joshua's like, hey, you know what? We'll pay you X amount of dollars. You're coming in here. Paul's going to win this fight, and away you go. I'm not saying it's rigged, but it feels like it has the ability to, hey, you know what? Maybe we just get 2 fights out of this, and then we can both retire after the 2 fights at this point. That's what's the dangerous part. But for me, I'd probably take a swing at Paul because it's really his show, and if the gravy train continues, he's got to win.
Thank you. Reload, over to you. You going to watch this matchup?
Yeah, I'll watch it, being that it's right on Netflix.
Yeah.
Hopefully the undercard is good, whatever they have lined up for that. And you gotta catch the ring card girls too. Some of them become famous on these shows. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens in the fight. If Paul does get knocked out, I think he's still a draw. I think he would still find a way to keep going with this, but yeah, it does kind of tarnish things a little if he does lose. But yeah, I'll be watching, and like I said, the ring card girls and the undercard would probably be the highlight for me here.
Exactly. Sammy, over to you. Your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, keep in mind, he has already lost before. He lost to Tommy Fury. So, he has lost before, but never by knockout. Now, Jake Paul can't knock out Anthony Joe, So if he somehow gets a knockout, then that it's fixed. If he wins by points, you'll have to see what happens. But there should be no way that he has the ability to knock him out. Obviously there's no value in betting on Joseph there, but, I'm going to watch it, but it should not be a knockout by Paul, maybe by points. But if anything, I'd love to see Jake Paul get knocked out.
All righty. Thank you, Sammy. Donnie, let me jump.
I said Joseph, Joshua.
Same thing.
Donnie, let me jump over to you. Week 16 in the NFL. What do you got? And what do you got for your 7?
Let's take some swings here. Why not go Thursday night? I know a lot of people do like the Rams in this game, and rightfully so. They're one of the best football teams, if not the best, in the NFL. But no, you take a look. Puka Nacua is going to play in this game. Got banged up a little bit late. He should be fine. But Devontae Adams is not going to be there. And then when you get inside the 10-yard line, he's an automatic touchdown that won't be there. Now, Parkinson is sort of filled in as a tight end. You get some other wide receivers to step up. I do like their 2-headed monster in the backfield now for running. But I got to tell you, a little bit of a public fader. I'm going to take the Seahawks at home, getting 1.5 points in a surprise. Swirling winds as high as 20 miles per hour, maybe some rain in the forecast. I think it's going to be sloppy. I think the Rams are better, but I give the home team the advantage on Thursday Night Football, maybe a bounce back for Darnold. Now, understand this. Darnold plays in this game and he's bad. All those ghosts are going to come out of the closet from what you saw last year down the stretch. They just had to beat Detroit. They got beat in that game. They just had to beat the Rams in the playoffs. They got smoked in that game. That's why Darnold is no longer in Minnesota. He's in Seattle. He's got to scare those demons away, and I expect him to play well. And a victory, and I'll take the plus 1.5 here. Of course, Saturday, the Philadelphia Eagles take on the Commanders. We're now into the season of the haves versus the have-nots. The Rams and the Seahawks, they both got to win. We understand that. We'll get a clean game. Eagles are going on the road against the Commanders, dead and out. Jaden Daniels on the bench now. Mariota's going to play. I think the Eagles can win that game by a touchdown. Then we flip it over to Sunday. I take a look at the New York Giants getting 2.5. I'm just going to fade that. I think the Vikings are still playing because they have to understand they need snaps out of their quarterback. In order to do that, you got to have a decent starting lineup. You can't actually sit those guys on the bench. Justin Jefferson waiting to go off. I'll take the Vikings as a slight favorite at -3.5. Maybe the sharpest play of the week, at least some of the early line movement. The Falcons on the road taking on the Cardinals. I took the Falcons at -2.5. Might even get Drake London back for this game to go with Kirk Cousins. But I do think the differentiator in that game is Bijan Robinson. Just hand him the football. You know the Cardinals are going to throw 40 or 50 times. Mistakes are going to happen. I'll take the Falcons on the road -2.5. Also, I'm going to take the Lions -6.5. Everybody saw the Steelers and how good they were on Monday Night Football. The Lions are up against it. Absolute must win. I'm not saying the Steelers don't need to win because they do, but they can lose this game, beat Cleveland the next week, handle their business against Baltimore, and ride off into the sunset in the playoffs with a division championship. I'll lay the 6.5 with the Lions. Also going to take the Ravens at home. They're back up against it as well. The Patriots had that soft schedule all year long, dominating the Buffalo Bills, end up losing that game. I'll lay the 2.5 points. And then Monday Night Football. I've seen enough of the Colts. It was a miracle they were able to hang in that football game. You have a quarterback that cannot throw the ball past 5 yards. You're eventually going to get beat. Give me the 49ers on the road. I'll lay the 6.5. The Colts ain't moving the football, and I'll leave it at that.
All righty. Thank you. Sammy, week 16 in the NFL. What do you got?
Yeah, not many differences from Donnie, which is good. Normally I'm opposite of him in reload, but we'll see what happens. But starting off tomorrow, I am on the public side, so I am on the Rams over Seattle. Rematch of a few weeks ago. Rams had all touchdowns. Seattle had all field goals. And if you look at last week, they barely beat Indianapolis by all field goals. But the score of Rams Seattle last time was 21-19. So 1 touchdown, 4 field goals. Seattle again last week 6 field goals. They can't find the end zone. So touchdown overrides field goals, and I think that's how you're going to see that one. Saturday night, you got to find action in one of the games. I like Green Bay over the Bears in a tough division matchup. Where again, Bears were the number 1 seed in the NFC a couple weeks ago. Now find themselves at the 7 seed. They should still be in the playoffs unless Detroit makes that comeback. We'll see. I like the Bengals over Miami, mainly because Joe Burrow is still playing and Tua is out. With a new starter for Miami, I think the Bengals should take care of business even if they are on the road. I like the Vikings over the Giants. The Giants are sitting at the number 1 seed right now, and they always find a way to win like 2 out of the last 3 games to go to like the 7 seed or like the 5 seed overall. But I think the Giants have a path to the number 1 overall. They just got to keep losing. I like the Jags to keep it close at Denver. A playoff caliber game. It could be a division matchup in the first round of the playoffs in a couple weeks. But I think the Jags with the hook plus 3.5 on the road. I'm against Donnie. I'm going to take the Steelers plus 6.5 on Sunday Night Football, at 4:00 at the Lions. But I do agree with him. I'm taking the Ravens on Sunday Night Football at home against the Patriots.
All righty. Thank you, Sammy. Reload. What do you got?
Yeah, I got some games jumping out here. 4 that I've picked out so far here for the week. First off, Green Bay at Chicago. I like the Packers -1 in Chicago. Nice divisional game there. And I think Chicago kind of a little overvalued going into this one. So I like the Packers to take 1 there. The Browns against the Buffalo Bills, an interesting one there in Cleveland with the Browns getting +10. I like that spot for the Cleveland Browns. They're not the best. We know that. Their defense does keep them in games sometimes, though. And the Bills sometimes have these letdown spots. We saw it a few times on the road this season, and especially after a big win over the Patriots. I think we're going to see another letdown. Bills probably win, but I think they squeak by like 4 or 6 points, something like that. 10 is a lot of points in this game, so we're going to go with the Browns there. Also, we've got the Arizona Cardinals hosting the Atlanta Falcons. Boy, what a great matchup there, right? I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals, though. I did lose with them against Houston last week, but I do think a couple of turnovers killed them. You fumble the opening kickoff, you throw an interception in the red zone. Where are you going from there? It's amazing it was as close as it was. So I think the Cardinals are in a nice bounce back spot here as a home dog, and they get just what the doctor ordered when you need a get-right game in the Atlanta Falcons. And I've been pretty good going against the Falcons in some spots this season. Falcons is a road favorite. Give me a break. Take the Cardinals plus 2.5 at home. Might even take the money line. I'm going to see how the odds move. Finally, Monday night, we have the Indianapolis Colts I like them +6 against the San Francisco 49ers. Rivers looked good last week. The Colts in general, I think, kind of stepped up a lot in that game in Seattle to almost win. I think now they have a spot where they can win more easily at home. And if they don't and they fall short, hey, it's still +6. Maybe not the best value off a close loss last week, but 6 is still a lot of points here at home on a Monday night. And I'm going with the Colts there.
All righty, Reload. Thank you. And good luck, gentlemen, on all your plays. And good luck to everyone on the forum with all the action. And we will see you guys on the forum.
Bing bong.
Peace.